today's Omar Vision tutorial, we're going to go through a second lesson in C# programming. The first lesson was just the simplest thing I could think of, a console application, which is something that runs in this little black window here like this. So for our second program, we're going to do a console app, but we're going to include something very important to programming. You have to have a goal. Without a goal, it's really hard to learn how to program because it's in trying to achieve those goals that you realize the difficulties of programming. So we're going to try to make a Pig Latin translator. So I looked up some of the rules for Pig Latin here on a website, and basically you have to find the vowel, and then based on where the vowel is, you take the first letters and throw them at the end, something like that. But anyway, let's start off a new Visual Studio project in C#. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio, and then I'm going to create a new project. And remember, if you don't see these, if you don't see the project type console, you have to go to the Visual Studio installer and choose to pick desktop apps. Just to show you what that is, let me show you the installer here. And here's the Visual Studio installer. In case you don't see console applications, come here to the installer and just check to see what you have on your Visual Studio installation by clicking Modify. And here, that's web development. Here you need the desktop development because a console application is a desktop application type. All right, so then anyway, if you have that, then for 2019, pick your language. So we're learning C#, and we're doing a program for Windows, so pick Windows. And the kind of project we want is a console application. There's two types here that it finally narrows it down to, and I'm going to pick the .NET Framework one and click that and say Next. So I'll call this Pig Latin Translator, and the location for it, I could either leave it at the default or I could choose a folder for it, and I'm going to put it in a particular folder here for my stuff. And then I will say Create. This will make a solution and a project. Okay, so here it is. The program is created, and this is what Visual Studio default made for me, and it should be able to run. So if I press Start, this code should run, but it closes right away because there's nothing to hold the window open. So then let's just put something to hold the window open in the main function. Let's add in a console dot read key to wait for the user to press a key. And to let the user know that we're waiting for them to press a key, we should let them know that. Let's make a little message on the screen that says, press any key to exit, just so they know what to do, okay? Now, if I run it, it stays open and it says press any key to exit, and then it exits when I press a key. Now, if you notice up here, when I use the word console, it's part of system. So the using system namespace command got highlighted bright. These are dim lit. I'm not using those. I can remove them. All right, so now let's think about it. This, the instructions for Pig Latin. So just to keep my mind thinking about what I have to do, I'm going to put the comments in here for the Pig Latin instructions. So I could look at them, read them, and understand what I have to do, my goal. So I kind of entered the comments in here like this. This is a special kind of comment that I could say I'm opening up a comment, and then everything I type after that will be comment, comment, comment until I close a comment. You know, the other way a comment is like I just comment one line at a time, like this, okay? And then say I have a bunch of lines like this. I'm just typing whatever, and there's just a bunch of lines that I want to comment the whole thing. Then I could select them all and go like this, and then this little comment thing will comment them all. Or you saw how when I was typing, Visual Studio kind of replaced some of the words because it's trying to figure out what I'm saying. So that's why they have this other way of commenting like this, where you can say /* to start the comments, and then you could put a */ to end the comments. Well, everything between these two lines is going to come out as a comment. Okay, now by default it's putting these little stars here so you can see a visual lineup, but in mine I kind of took the stars out, which how do I do that? Let's see. I guess I just do this, and then on the first one I just erase the star, and then I start typing, and then Visual Studio won't put those little stars there, but these are all comments. All right, so that's a little note on a comment that takes more than one line. All right, so let's see what the rules are for translating to Pig Latin. Okay, rule 1, if a word starts with a vowel, add the word way to the end. Rule 2, if a word starts with a consonant and a vowel, put the first letter of the word at the end and add a. If a word starts with two consonants, move the two consonants to the end of the word and add a. So everything depends on the vowel. All right, so the first job we're going to probably have to do here in the code is find the vowel. So let's try to write down the steps that we have to do. Our logic is going to have to find the vowel. That's one of the first things we have to do, right? So I'll say step 1 is find the vowel, okay? Because that's what these rules all depend on, where the vowel is. And then after we find the vowel, our step 2 in our code is going to be to follow a rule, okay? Because that's what it's going to depend on. If we follow rule 1, 2, or 3, it's going to depend on the vowel's location. So I just putting step 1 and 2. Now, over here in the rules, we're saying that a word starts with a vowel, that the second letter is a vowel, or that the third letter is a vowel. That's an assumption, so let me just put that there. That we are assuming, oopsie, we are assuming that every word has a vowel in it, okay? And the other thing, we are assuming that every word has a vowel as the first, second, or third letter. So these assumptions are important because if there's a word that doesn't follow this, we don't have a rule for it. And we're just going to want to be able to not have the computer, we're going to want to be able to have the computer say that it found something it couldn't translate. So we're going to have to know what we're assuming. All right, so we're assuming two things. Every word has a vowel, and that the vowel is the first, second, or third letter. Okay? Now, to do the translation, first thing we have to know is we have to find the vowel. So let's write some code for that, for finding the vowel. Oh, well, you know what? First thing we have to do here is get the word that wants to be translated. So let's put a message up on the screen, console.writeLine, and we'll tell the user that this program is a pig Latin translator. Okay, and then I guess we could make a little space, take a line, and then we'll ask them to enter the first word, console.write. Now I'm just going to use the write command so it doesn't go to the next line, and I'm going to ask the user to enter the word, space. Okay, and then I'll wait for them to enter the word with console.readline. They have to press enter to finish their entry. And this readline returns a string. Let's put that into a variable, string word equals console readline, so we can get the user's word. And let's just test this out. And let's just test this out to see if we actually get the word. Let's put a breakpoint over here. Okay, and let's run this. Make sure our code is running for everything we type so far. It says enter a word, and I'll enter a word ape. Enter. And here we are, the breakpoint gets hit. And the word, I put my mouse over it, equals ape. So it did read a line. And our code is compiling, so let's continue. That we did our little code work check. So we have the word that the user wants to translate there. Now let's start following the steps. Step 1, we have to find the vowel in the word. We have to find the position of the vowel. So let me make a variable. The variable is going to be an integer variable. It's going to hold a number. And let me make a meaningful variable name, vowel position. And by default, I'm going to have it equal -1 because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to loop through all the letters of the word that the user typed in. And this string, the string type is a word. A string is a series of characters. So for each character, that's a letter in the word, for each character in word, and I'm going to save that variable in letter, this is what we're going to do. We're going to first update the count of the vowel position by adding 1 to it, +1, okay? And then we're going to see if what they typed is a vowel. So we know that the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So we'll make an if statement for that. We'll say if letter equals A, or letter equals E, or letter equals A, E, I, oops, I, or letter equals A, E, I, O, or letter equals U. Then what are we going to do? I put a little, so if statement, you have to put the brackets. When I type the first bracket, Visual Studio will put the second bracket for me. So I type the first bracket, it puts a second bracket, and then I press enter, and Visual Studio lines up the brackets for me, all right? Save yourself time, let Visual Studio do this formatting for you. Now in here, we found the letter, so the vowel position, we don't have to keep looping and adding, so we're gonna break out of the loop. We're gonna prematurely break out of the loop, or possibly it's the last letter, we're gonna come out of the loop, all right? And then after we come out of the loop, our command's gonna be here. So let's see that happen. Let me do a little thing here, a breakpoint, and let's see how this loop works, that when it finds a letter, it just breaks out of the loop. So I'm gonna press save, and then I'm gonna start the program again, and let me type in a word, happy. So we can see here in the word happy that the A is the second letter. Let me press enter. All right, so here we are at our breakpoint on line 37. The vowel position after I step over equals -1. And now the word equals happy. So now let's see what each letter in the word is. So I'm going to step, it looks at word, it gets the first letter. So now letter equals H, and I'm going to add to the vowel position 1. So now I'm in position 0. In C#, arrays start with position 0. So position 0 is H, and is H a vowel? No, so it doesn't go inside the if statement. It just comes over here and loops to the next letter because there's another letter in word, and the next letter is A. So now vowel position is set to 1, which is the second letter in the word, and A is one of the letters of vowels. So then we break, and we're going to step out of the loop. We're not going to finish looking at the rest of the letters. And we stepped out of the loop, but we do have our vowel position equals to position 1. Okay, so that part's working. Now, so we did step 1, we found the vowel. Now, step 2 is to, let's label that this was step 1. Okay, just to help everybody understand where the code is doing what. And let's label this now step 2. Step 2 is a bigger step, because here we just had to loop through and find where the vowel is. Now we're going to have to follow one of the rules. So let's see, we're going to have to follow rules based on where the vowel was. So there's another, I could do ifs, but sometimes when you have a bunch of ifs in a row, you could use something called a switch statement. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to do something based on the value of the vowel position. Okay, so it's going to check the vowel position, and in case the vowel position equals 0, I could do this part. In case the vowel position equals 1, I will do something in here. And in case the vowel position equals 2, I will do something here. Okay, so let's see. In case the vowel position was the first letter, that is, if the word starts with a vowel, add the word way at the end of the word. So you just take the word and add way. All right, so we're going to take the word. Let's have a variable to store our Pig Latin word. So let me make a variable over here before we go in the switch statement called Pig Latin, I guess. And we'll have it equal nothing at first. Well, I'll say Pig Latin word, okay? And at first it equals nothing. And then over here, if the vowel was the first position, then we're going to have the Pig Latin word equal word plus way, just like it says in Rule 1. Okay. Now, in case the vowel position is 1, so let me just put the comment. This is Rule 1, and that says to add way. Okay. Now here will be the vowel position is 1. Word starts with a consonant and a vowel. That's rule number 2. So this is going to be Rule 2. And on Rule 2, what do we have to do? Rule 2, we have to put the first letter at the end and add A. So first letter at end plus A. All right, so we're gonna have to know what the first letters are and the after letters are. So let's make some new variables here. Let's see. Let's make a string that's gonna hold the before letters. Okay, and let's make another string that's gonna hold the after letters after the vowel, since we have to split based on the vowel. So the first letter at the end. So let's see. That would be the before letters is going to equal the word, and word is actually, you see, string word. If I put the dot there, a string has a lot of functions of things I could do to it, and one of them is substring, which is where I can get a piece of the word. Okay, so I'm going to use substring, And the first override says it takes a start index. Then there's another override that takes a start index and a length. So the before letters, I want letters starting from the array position 0 in the word, and I just want one letter. And that's going to be my before letters. And then we're going to have the letters after the vowel, so that would be after letters is going to equal my word dot substring. And we're going to take everything from position 1, which is where it found the vowel. And then we're not going to say how long. It's just going to take the whole rest of the word, so I just use that. Okay. And now for the pig Latin word, it will equal the after letters plus the before letters, and we just add a onto the end of it. Okay. Good. You know what? I should test these things out as I'm typing them, but let's continue adding the last rule over here, which I did rule 1, rule 2. So this is the third rule, rule 3. And that says, let's see what the third rule says over here. If the word starts with 2 consonants, then move the 2 consonants to the end and add a. Okay, so here the vowel position is 2. So 2 consonants, add to end plus a. All right, so here my before letters equals word plus substring, blah, 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 substring from, let's see, oh, I didn't type before letters right. Before letters, substring is not typed right because of the capitalization. Substring. Now when I put the first parenthesis, I have the little thing there. So the before letters are going to start from position 0, and I want to grab 2 letters, okay? Because the vowel was the third letter. And that means the after letters after the vowel will equal the word dot substring from position 2. Okay, bam. Now when I make the pig Latin word, it's going to equal, take the after letters first, plus the before letters, which is going to be 2 of them in this case, plus a to make the pig Latin word. Okay, now this is the hard part. We're going to have to test this. So for each of these things, we're going to have an example word. Let's see, we have awesome. Let's test with the word awesome. Awesome should, wait a minute. Awesome should come to rule number 1 and just add way to the end. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put a breakpoint on line 49 so we could stop and start seeing what happens. So let me press start and type the word awesome, enter. And now let's go back to the code and see what's happening. We stop on word. We're making our variables pig Latin, before letters and after letters. They're string variables. And now based on the vowel position, which is equal to 0, we're going to go to OK, in case it's 0, so it goes in here. And the word pig Latin is going to equal awesome plus way. And it equals awesome way. Was that what it said in the rule as an example? Awesome way. So that one worked. And our program just says press any key to exit. I'm going to press a key. I guess we could actually show the translation to the user. That would be nice, right? So let's do that. Let's do console.writeLine translation plus the pig Latin word. Okay, and then I'll just give a little space here. WriteLine. That way we could, I don't have to like see it with the thing. I could just let the code run and see what happens. All right, so that was awesome. Now let's test case 1, which is rule 2. Rule 2 says a word starts with a consonant and a vowel. So an example of a word like that would be happy, and we want it to be appy. So let me press run, and let's enter the word happy, enter, and it hits the breakpoint, and let's see what we get. We get our 3 variables. The vowel position is 1, so it should come over here. And yep, it comes over here. The letters before the word, it should take up the H and just take 1 letter, so that should be H, and it is. And then the after letters should be everything from position 1 to the end of the word, so that should be appy, and it is appy. Now we're going to add appy, the H, and the A, and that's going to equal appy hey. And let's let it run and see if it shows our message on the screen. And it does. You enter the word happy, and the translation is appy a. Now I can press exit. And now we're going to test out the last one here, which is rule 3, Rule 3 says if a word starts with 2 consonants, okay? So child is an example word. Do I still have my breakpoint? Yeah. So let's press run again, and this time we're going to type in the word child. Enter. Boom, boom, boom. The vowel position is the 0, 1, 2 position. So that'll be case 2. So I'm going to take the first 2 letters for the before letters, C and H. Does that work? Yep, C and H. And then I'm going to take everything after position 2 on in words. So that should be ild. It's ild. And now I put the things together. I take ild plus ch and a. Ilche. And it should show it on the screen. Ilche. All right, so our 3 rules work. So we had some assumptions, right? That our code's only working based on the assumption that there's a vowel in the first, second, or third position. Let's just try typing in something that has a vowel in the 4th position. It'll be a made-up word, but computers don't know what words are. It just looks at the characters. So let's see. K-L-L-I-P. Okay, well, let me make it easier to see. K-T-G-R-O. Kitgrow. I press enter, it comes here. Now our vowel position was calculated to be 4. Did I even really have a vowel? Yeah, I did. I did have a vowel, 4. And let's see. Oh, it didn't hit any of the cases, so the Pig Latin word is blank. So it's going to have the translation, it's going to say nothing. And that may be confusing to the user. They'll be like, what happened? It didn't say anything. So let's handle this word that we didn't assume. Let's add in the case statement that it's 0, 1, or 2. Let's say that if it's none of those things, then we could have a default case, okay, and break. We could have a default case, and in default case, we'll just set the Pig Latin word to say what's wrong. Pig Latin word equals unable to translate. Okay, and we're unable to translate because that word didn't fit one of our rules. It didn't fit our assumptions. So we'll just tell the user something like unable to translate. All right. So now if I type in some crazy thing, okay, see where the A is the 4th letter, then the code will come in. And in the switch statement here, vowel is 3. That's not one of our cases. It will just jump down to default and give the message unable to translate to print out on the screen, unable to translate. All right. So there, we made a Pig Latin translator that translates one word that you type in. Now, you could run it from Visual Studio every time, but that's not practical. Usually when you make a program, you're going to have to compile it so that you could just run the exe. So let's now make our program ready for anybody to use, not just somebody that has Visual Studio and can run the code like this. So to do that, what we're going to do, let's look in the Solution Explorer tab over here. And if you don't have this tab here, then you could just open up the window from here. Window, no, where is it? Blah, 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 blah. View, Solution Explorer. All right. And what this shows is that, remember, our console application is part of a solution. That's the higher level thing. And then inside a solution, you have a project. Okay. So our project has this CS file, program CS, and that's what we've been coding in, that main thing. Now we want to turn this into something that could run by itself without Visual Studio. So we could go over here to build, and we could say build solution, and then it's going to say build succeeded. See, it builds it. Let me just do that again. Build, or I could say rebuild solution. And there you go, it says rebuild all started. This is the Pig Latin translator. It makes the Pig Latin translator.exe right here, and we can see the path to it is in the bin debug folder. Okay, so now it built the project. Now I could close Visual Studio. I'm not using Visual Studio now, but let me go to the location where it built the project, which is Omar Stuff Pig Latin translator. This is the solution, but this is the project folder here. See with the project file. And then it said it was in bin debug. So here there's 3 files, but here's the exe. This exe runs the project all by itself. So you see I don't have Visual Studio open. Now I could click on the exe, double click on it to run it, and there you go. My program is running all by itself without Visual Studio. And I could type in a word like child, and then it tells me the translation, and then I press exit. So that's how you make the program, how you compile it into an exe, and it can run by itself. So this exe, I can move it around. I can put it on a USB stick, wherever it is. If I double click on it, the program runs. Happy, happy, okay? So that's that. I'll put this on the Omar Vision website so you could download the code and try it yourself, or, and learn from it. Thanks very much. You made it to the end of the video. I'm so proud of you. This is my website. The main thing I want to show you is that for any of these videos that you've seen on YouTube, I have the tutorial section, which has the blue links for the projects and the orange links are the files. Also, you could go over here and play some of the games we made in the game camp.